So let's go to Team Norris to kick things off. Matt Grzelcyk is the fan-voted Team Norris trophy winner for the Penguins, and the voting was not particularly close. Matt Grzelcyk finishes with 66% of the vote for Team Norris from our listeners. Erik Karlsson finishes in second with 14%. Other Horwat finishes in third with 11%, and Kris Letang finishes in fourth with 10. Now, before I send it over to you for your pick, other seems to be most people saying Owen Pickering. It was either Owen Pickering or Marcus Pettersson. And since we're not going to give it to somebody that didn't spend the last 25% of the season with the team, we'll say other is Owen Pickering, who gets now that 11%.
I was coming up with this was tough. Like I mentioned, with what the defense could look like next year, it could be totally different. In this season, it was Erik Karlsson or Kris Letang not playing at the top of their game. I did not realize Karlsson was that close to top 10 in scoring for defenseman, though.
Yeah, 2 points off. He has 53 right now. 10th is 55.
And if you would have told me, hey, you're getting Erik Karlsson to be a top 10 defensive point scorer, I'd say that makes sense for his age. It feels a little uglier now that we see it. That just goes to show how good Erik Karlsson has been over the course of his career. But when it comes down to it this year, yeah, I alluded to it last episode, just copy paste everything I said about Matt Grzelcyk, or everything you said about Matt Grzelcyk then, and punch it in now, just because, first of all, no one expected that sort of season from him. No one expected that sort of production. And here we are sitting here before the last game of the season and saying, yep, that was the best defense the Penguins had to offer this year. I mean, also, truly, who else would we have given this award to this year? Not those two I just mentioned. I mean, like you said, three-time winner Marcus Pettersson, probably not, because he's not here anymore. And same with Owen Pickering to a degree. I mean, he is obviously still here, and I know I gave Vezina to a guy that did not play a single game in the NHL this year.
Yeah.
But Owen Pickering is back in the A, continuing to get ready for a playoff run. And I like that choice just because it's off the wall, like I went with Vezina. But for what it's worth, I was impressed. We were impressed with Matt Grzelcyk this year. So I think that is just the correct direction to go in.
Yeah, Owen Pickering only played, if I'm not mistaken, 25 games at the NHL level this season. But in those 25 games, not only did he show that he currently, without any more growth, is a NHL caliber defenseman. I mean, third pairing, he can play. He can go out there and play third pairing minutes any day against any opponent, and I'm comfortable with Owen Pickering in that spot. He was also pushed a little bit when he was thrown up on a line with, or a pairing with, Kris Letang. And honestly, it was a sink or swim situation. I thought he did pretty good. Yeah, did he have a couple of rough games here and there? 100%. But he's a young defender that still needs to fill out the remainder of his body. He's a big kid. He utilized that size a little bit, and I think we all saw that. But he needs to fill out a little bit more, and I think he just needs to kind of sharpen up the edges. Now, some of that could be done at the NHL level, but as the Penguins decided, they thought maybe he needs to go back down to the AHL, kind of round some things into form, and then come back up when he's fully ready. That's what Jason Spezza has said the plan is all along. They don't like players ping-ponging back and forth, but Owen Pickering was a necessity midway through this season. He came up and he played really well. So I think that the arrow is firmly pointed in the positive direction with Owen Pickering, and I love that he got some love from the listeners here in this poll, but I agree with you. It's Matt Grzelcyk. If you heard me talk about Matt Grzelcyk when we had the discussion about best first-year Penguin last week, I think that you would know that it's obvious that I'm going with Matt Grzelcyk. So that was your pick too, correct? So this is a clean sweep for Team Norris.
Yeah, that's it. I chose Grzelcyk for Norris as well, and I would have picked him too for the first season player, but I didn't want to repeat names on this year. So I went with the Connors last week, and this time around for Norris, it just makes perfect sense because, again, who else would it have gone to?
Yeah, now, if you didn't tune into last Thursday's episode, first of all, shame on you for 6 weeks. Second of all, what we talked about when we were discussing Grzelcyk last Thursday was the fact that he's integral to this power play's turnaround, right? It's not Karlsson. It's not Letang that turned this power play around at the point. It was Matt Grzelcyk being the facilitator, he only has one goal, so it's not like he's a sharpshooter up there. So he's having a great season. Not to mention the fact that he has a career high in points at 38 That's something else we could see potentially, is he gets to the 40-point plateau for the first time in his career. So I'm going to give it to Matt Grzelcyk as well. Kris Letang at the bottom of this list. That's a discussion for later in the summer. But I think rightly so. That's where I'll put it right now. It has been a rough year for 58 in black and gold. And as far as Erik Karlsson is concerned, it feels, I mean, the stats point to this, but just the overall feeling when I think back to his performance over this season, it feels like a carbon copy of last year, where it's not bad, right? There's been bad moments, definitely. Don't get me wrong. There have been times where you look at Karlsson and you say, how is this guy allowed to call himself a defenseman? That there have been times when that's happened throughout his entire career. And then there's been times where you look at him, you say, man, this guy is supremely talented. This is why he's going to be a Hockey Hall of Famer. This is shades of him in his peak in Ottawa. We've seen that, but it just hasn't been enough of the latter. It's been too much of the former. There's been too many peaks and too many valleys throughout the season. And at the end of the day, he's 3 points shy of what he had last year. And that was disappointing. We all knew coming off of a 103-point season that he wasn't going to replicate that, but we wanted 60 plus, 65 plus, 70 would have been great. But he finished with what, 56 last year, and he's at 53 this year, or 55 and 52, either way. Again, just not enough from Erik Karlsson. It's unfortunate because there are times where you watch him and you're like, there's only one player that can make those plays right now, and it's Erik Karlsson. It's just, we didn't see that consistently enough throughout the season.